Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another video. Going to be talking about everything I watched last week. Man, I'm vibing right now. The Fate of Ophelia is hitting different this week, and yeah, let's get into it. Let's start it off with my one and only season of TV that I watch, which is quite easily, far and away, my favorite thing that I watched this week, which is season 2 of The Walking Dead. I talked about it a little bit last week, but Austin has told me that this is a polarizing season because people think it's too slow, it's too boring. I firmly disagree. I really, really loved season 2. I had a fantastic time with it. I thought it was fantastic. And yeah, it's really great. It's definitely my favorite season of TV I've watched so far this season. I'm enjoying season 3 quite a lot as well. Pretty similar levels to season 2. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that, having a good time with that. And we'll talk about season 3 in the next episode. But yeah, season 2, definitely my favorite of the show so far. It's keeping me engaged, and I'm really, really enjoying the show. So, let's get on to the movies, starting it off with my least favorite of the week, which was F9, which we finished Fast and Furious this week, finally. It's been a long time coming, but we finally finished it. Mel has now watched all 11 of the Fast and Furious movies that do exist as of right now. And yeah, it looks like there's still going to be like another three coming out at some point. Hobbs and Shaw 2, Fast 10 Part 2, and Part 3. So we'll see how that goes. But, anyways, F9, it's probably the least interesting of the franchise, to be honest, but it's still not my least favorite. I'm just really not a fan of Tokyo Drift, which is my least favorite. So having this at my second least favorite, um, isn't really surprising, I don't think. I don't really love the flashback sequences and scenes either. I like the addition of John Cena. It's fun, but yeah, nonetheless, let's move on to a short film. What did Jack do? Which was just kind of a funny, kind of weird, very David Lynch film, and I think it's been a year since he's passed already, which is pretty sad. Let me fact check that because I'm pretty sure I'd seen that, and I unintentionally watched one of his movies this week. I didn't even really mean for that to happen, but yeah, he passed away on the 16th, and actually, I watched it that day. I didn't even realize I did that. That was interesting. Well, that's funny how that works out, I guess. Anyways, rest in peace to David Lynch. I've come to learn that I just don't think me and David Lynch really go well together. I'm not a huge fan of the films of his that I've seen so far. I've only seen 4 feature length films and then this short film, though. So who knows? Maybe exploring more of his filmography, I'll find some more to like. But overall, what did Jack do? It's fine. It's a decent short film. It's not my least favorite of his things by any means either. So, yeah. Well, let's move on to Francis Ha, which I ranked a 61 out of 100. And truthfully, I didn't really care for this movie much either. I thought our protagonist, our lead, Greta Gerwig, Francis Ha, was not an enjoyable character and a person that I just could not get interested in caring about in the slightest. And you can read my review, but is this what New Yorkers are like? If so, I don't think New Yorkers are for me because this woman is miserable and I do not want to be mixed up with that. So I'm sorry if you're a New Yorkian like Francis Ha, but you hopefully aren't like that. No offense to Francis, but yeah, overall, didn't really care for Francis Ha a whole lot. And truthfully, I am excited to go through Noah Baumbach's filmography this year because this is my first and only Noah Baumbach film I've seen, and I'd like to do that this year. It's one of my goals for the year, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll like some more of his filmography, but as of right now, I'm kind of 0 for 1. So let's move on to the next movie, which is Fast X, which although I lowered it quite a bit, I had originally had it ranked at 79 out of 100, lowered it down to a 64. I actually feel like I honestly enjoyed this more than I previously remember enjoying it, which is crazy considering it went down like 15 points. But yeah, I had a decent time with this. I think it's a lot of fun, to be honest. It's bad. There's some pretty bad CGI at moments. There's a lot of, I'm going to say fake deaths because I don't think a lot of these are going to actually carry over until, or part two. I don't think that's the case. So we'll see what happens. But Overall, I think it's a decent movie. Jason Momoa is honestly a really fun villain. I really enjoy that. We get a twist villain at the end with Alan Richardson as well, and I'm just kind of excited to see where the story goes and ends. We'll see that soon enough. But 64 out of 100. Let's move on to how I started the week with Sorry Baby, which directed by Eva Victor, getting a lot of praise around award season. I felt like it was kind of a must watch right now, and I will say I am glad I finally watched it. Ranked it a 73 out of 100. I think it's really good. I think there's a lot to digest in this film. With a second viewing, I definitely could see myself enjoying this more. Definitely my favorite part was when she found a cat and the cat distribution center took place for Eva Victor. I hope that one day that happens for me. It has happened for Mel. That's how we found Betty. That's how she found Betty. Mel went to go buy a desk and she ended up leaving with Betty. So it's really funny how that works out. It's a funny story. We'll have to tell it sometime, maybe on our podcast. Quick little plug. First episode of the podcast came out today. Go check it out, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, you did enjoy that if you already have seen it. But yeah, let's move on to The Apartment, which I ranked a 76 out of 100. I think is a good movie. It's a little chaotic, but I love the ending. The ending was so heartwarming. And although I don't think this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, like a lot of people seem to think it is. I definitely don't feel that same way, unfortunately. I think it's really good and it's a very enjoyable movie. And truthfully, I had a good time with it. I think it's quite a lot of fun, obviously. And I'm gonna have to start renting out my apartment. I need that extra cash. So all right, let's move on to the next watch. And this is one movie out of many that I've been wanting to rewatch to start off the year. So, No Country for Old Men. I ranked a 76 out of 100. I lowered it from an 80 to a 76. And this, alongside the Kung Fu Panda movies and like some other movies that I want to rewatch this month, like Gladiator, probably this week. But anyways, there's just quite a bit of movies that I want to rewatch that I don't know how I didn't really feel very confident about the way I ranked them and my ratings for them, and this was one of them because ultimately when I had originally ranked No Country for Old Men an 80 out of 100, I felt like I should put it at an 80 out of 100 so it gets that 4-star rating from me. And truthfully, I just don't think it's that good of a movie. I think it is a good movie. I ranked it a 76 out of 100, but you can read my review. I cannot fathom that one of our leads gets killed off screen. It kind of blows my mind. I think it really takes away from the movie, in my opinion. And this is a really slow movie, and don't get me wrong, there are some slow westerns, and this, as a modern western, is very slow, and I find it a little boring at times. So that's just the way I feel, unfortunately. I'm definitely in the minority, and I know that, but ranked at a 76 out of 100. Let's move on to a documentary. Mel and I finally got around to watching One Last Adventure, The Making of Stranger Things 5, which was an interesting watch. Mel got very emotional. I didn't feel very emotional going through this, which was kind of surprising. I figured I would have been emotional towards the end of this, but I think I'm still a little frustrated about season 5 because season 5, I never really got very much emotion after volume 1. Volume 1, I fucking loved. I thought volume 1 was awesome. The rest of the show or the rest of the season I did not really care for as much, and I kind of felt that in the documentary as well. And I'd heard so many things, seen so many things about the stuff that the Duffers have said, and Chat GPT, and that they didn't want to write the script. And I think that kind of frustrated me as well, which is fair. Though I get it, like as a creative person, maybe you don't want to do everything. And I'm sure they were tired and they were busy, and it seemed like it took a toll on them to write this show, um, and to really find like a perfect ending that's going to please everyone, because obviously that's not going to happen. But I feel like Stranger Things fans really showed their true colors over the past month because of the way that well, it's maybe 2 months, I guess, the past 2 months, about the negatives I've seen from a lot of this community over the past couple months, which sucks because even if season 5 is the weakest season, it doesn't mean it's a bad show. It is not a bad show by any means. Seasons 1 through 4 are literally some of the best TV ever created, in my opinion, that I've seen. But yeah, nonetheless, I like this documentary and I thought it was fun. So 80 out of 100. It's also very impressive, the set designs that were made. And it's crazy to think about how much of this was actually practical, which is very cool. So 80 out of 100. Let's move on to my top three of the week, starting it off with Abominable, which is a movie I've kind of always wanted to watch. And as I'm going through DreamWorks movies this year, makes sense to watch Abominable, ranking it in 84 out of 100. I enjoyed this far more than I thought I was going to, and more than I think the average. And I think Mel would have really liked this movie. So maybe one day we'll watch it together. But 84 out of 100, I thought I thought it was really cute. There's some really good music. There's some really fun animation. It's very colorful, and I really enjoyed that. And overall, I just had a good time with it. Ranking an 84 out of 100. Let's move on to The Fablemans, which is something I've been wanting to rewatch for quite some time now. I haven't watched it since I think 2022 when it came out, I want to say. So it's been quite a few years now, and I did lower my rating. I believe I had it at a 90 out of 100, down to an 86. I still think it's a really great movie. And really, because of Gabriel LaBelle, I fucking love this kid. And I love this man. I want him to be in more things. I need to see him in more things because he's so charismatic, but he's so fucking good. Every time he's on screen, he just captures this, I don't know, this like raw energy that I'm so invested in and I'm so intrigued by, and I love it. I love it. He's fantastic, and I love him. 86 out of 100, mostly because of Gabriel LaBelle, but I also love this movie. I think it's just a great movie. And let's move on to my favorite watch of the week, which is Wicked for Good, which I ranked an 88 out of 100. I believe when I first watched this movie, I ranked it an 87 out of 100. Second time I watched it, I ranked it a 92 out of 100. This time down to an 88 out of 100. And even though I just made my top 15 movies of the year last week, this technically has gone down the list quite a bit to probably 13th, from like number six. So it went down quite a bit. It's still in the top 15, but ultimately, there's some stuff that I don't enjoy from this movie. And I think the music in this movie is just quite a big letdown compared to the first. And yeah, No Good Deed really carries this movie for me. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's everything for me this week. Taking it easy on movies so far this year. I'm just really trying to watch more TV, and I really want to try and finish The Walking Dead before March so then I can watch Peaky Blinders ahead of the movie that comes out later this year, also in March. So, yeah, that's what I've been focusing on. So, nonetheless, thank you guys all so much for watching. Hopefully, you did enjoy. Let me know if you guys think this mic cover is better. Mel thinks the sound quality of this one is better. So just let me know if you think so as well. Nonetheless, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.